Hey, what's up YouTube? This is a video on how to replace this cable, but in order to do it, we need to remove the intake manifold. I've done a number of intake manifolds on big block Chevy V8s, and I'm hoping that based on that knowledge, I can tackle this 2.4 liter that's found in the Jeep Compass, Jeep Patriot, and Dodge Avenger. This is my wife's car, so we took it to the dealer, and the dealer said the problem with our battery charging system was the wiring, and recommended this part. I'll put the part number in the description. And then they said it'll cost us $350, $400 to change it out, and I thought that was outrageous. And so I've come to figure out the reason they charge that is probably because they have to take the intake manifold out to get to this where these guys hook up. So having never done this, there might be some trial and error. I'll try to pause and edit the video down as small as possible here to get the maximum value out of our video time here. By the way, this whole thing came about because my wife went to AutoZone to replace the battery. And they did a really crappy job. They cut out the head because the battery posts were a different size, so they put on this different, they had to cut it out. And when they cut it out, they made this huge mess, so I went back in and jimmied up this guy here as a, and anyways, the battery still, I don't know, after about a year, either AutoZone sold us a bum battery or it wasn't charging because of this. So then, so we took it to the Dodge dealer, and they're like, look, this is not factory. We're not going to do anything for you. You're avoiding the warranty by doing this. You need to put back the stock wire. So that's what we're doing here today. I don't see any corrosion going on here, so I don't know what it is, but we're doing what they say, and hopefully, you know, this fixes our problem. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to remove this battery accessory cover here. Cool, throw that aside. And then I'm going to pop off this cover here, just a nice jerk up real hard. One side, the other side. All right. Throw that aside. And then you can't even really see the wiring here, but one goes way down under there. To gain better access, I'm actually going to take this piece off. The wiring that it's connected to is getting in my way. So there's a red tab on there, which I'm going to pull down. There we go. Put that sucker down. And push in on the clip down here. Just sort of go click. And then now with the other hand, wiggle it, and there it goes. Came right off. So backing up, we can see what this all goes to. It's this piece right here. So I want to pull this up and out of the way. There we go, and that'll give me better visibility into there. Let me reposition the lighting and I'll be right back. Okay, and since we removed the air intake pipe from the box to the air intake manifold, it's really opened up this area here a lot, and so we can work. So what I'd like to do is show you a different way to remove this battery cable completely. We can see here that, so it connects in a couple places over here, connects to the chassis right here, to the battery here and here. We'll remove those, and then this wire goes in here, and I'll reposition the camera and get some light, and I'll show you what's going on in there. Better access to the battery cable, what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the negative terminal first, and then the positive terminal. And these are 10mm sockets here. So negative, and then positive. Okay, next I need to disconnect here and here. These are 10mm. So we can go ahead and do these real fast. Probably should have done this while it was still on. All right. And then this one right here. Again, I'm going to put this one right back on so I don't lose it. And then, you know, I already fixed a 13mm socket. I'm going to go ahead and go down there and get the battery out. Okay, so we can see that this battery cable wire is pretty loose on this side, but now it's up to us to get out the other side. So how we do that is, this one's the easy one, right here. The harder one is going to be back in here. So following this wire, where I have my hand on right here, and the green wire back in there, I can zoom in. So what you don't know is that on the other side of that piece of metal is a bolt. I'll figure out what size bolt it is. I'll get in there, I'll unbolt it somehow. I think obviously a big ratchet is not the answer, so we're going to need the littlest ratchet possible with some adapters. So let's see what we can do. Really, there's no way I'm going to be able to get my hand in there and show you at the same time. See, my hand's blocking the way, but that's a 13mm socket. I'm going to see if I can get in there and get it undone, and we'll come back either success or failure. Okay, so the best I can tell, there's just no way to get into there, right? I mean, it's on the other side of this guy, and we're between the block and the air intake manifold. Now, I don't have a ratchet that does a hook. Look, so at the end of the day, there is just no way to get at that cable. It's just not going to happen. We don't have a ratchet that hooks around, 180 degrees. And that's what makes this job so expensive, is we have to take off the intake manifold. Okay, so all that to just so I could get access to these guys right here. That's why this is such an expensive job. Yeah, to replace this cable from here, and that's a little my handiwork that is apparently unacceptable and is causing charging issues. All the way down here. Boom, so there, and then that ought to do it. But again, I could not even begin to get to it without taking off the intake manifold. So cool, it's pretty self-explanatory. If there's any problems, I'll let you know when we come back, and then we'll regroup. All right. I think we were back to 13mm for the nut here, and then finally different size for this one in here where it's grounded to the block. It was 15mm where it's grounded to the block. So okay, so I got them out, and here, this is the new hotness, to quote Men in Black, and the one on the top is the old busted. So old, new. So I guess our problem here is with, when the guy at AutoZone cut it out, right? He cut out because he had to replace this, so he cut it out, and then he did a shitty job kind of crimping it all back together. So that's why I bought these blocks here, these screw-down blocks. It was a solution, I thought. So one of the differences here is there's a wire that there's a second wire that came in right here. What's going to happen on this one is on the positive there's a post. So I'm going to connect this guy right here that I bought at Home Depot to the post, and I'll crimp it in on this side from where the wire got cut out by the AutoZone guy. So here, I'll show you where that wire is in here. Here's that wire. It goes into the fuse box, in and under the fuse box. So hopefully I bought the right. Oh, I don't think the gauge is going to be big enough. We'll have to make it work. And I'll get this guy on here. Boom, crimp it in, and then attach it to the post over right here on this post, on the secondary post here. Make sense? Great. Cool, so I'm excited. I twisted it on, and it perfectly fit. I mean, just barely, but perfectly fit. All the wires got in there. So I'm going to crimp it down right now. And with my crimping tool here, hopefully I get enough strength here. I'll probably have to use two hands to really bear down on this guy. And then we should hook it all back up. All right. Okay, so the crimp went to plan here. Looks great. I started to string in the new here. Again, we're going to leave the negative off. I went ahead and put this guy on here. So we're ready to tie that down. We're ready to tie this guy down. I can undo this guy here and tie this guy onto it. and then I strung it through here. And what I'm noticing, and I think you may have noticed when I put the old and the new together, this is just too short. I'm actually going to have to cut this back here quite a ways so that I can separate these enough, because one needs to go, the black needs to go way back here, and then this red is going to have to flip over. It's like it's upside down. Man, I wish there was a way to flip the whole thing, but yeah, it's upside down as far as I can tell. So I'll go ahead and start putting it all in together. Again, it's pretty much, you know, we're in the home stretch here. It's just kind of reversing the process. All right, to wrap things up, everything's back together. It turned out great here. You can see I got the manifold back on, and now we have, this came together really nicely. It's one continuous piece now, if you can see in there. There's no breaks, no funny connectors. So this all came together really well, and I'm really happy with how it turned out there. Thanks a lot for watching. This is the first video ever. If you liked what you saw, please like and subscribe, and hope to make more videos soon. Thanks.